Why does Rumpelstilzchen have to be an ugly imp? Wouldn't it be cooler to have him be a tall and handsome magic fairyman who rules the forest, cares for his animals, and bleeds mysterious green slime? You know what? I would read that book. You know what? I wrote that book. Hello, lovely people. I am Nelly Neufeld. I am an indie author, and today I'm going to tell you a little bit about my novella Rumpelstilzchen, a retelling. I started writing this story in April of 2013, which is over 10 years ago, and it's crazy to even think about. And this is one of the original notebooks I used to sketch down some first ideas and get like the characters onto the page, and you can see this. There are some doodles of what the cottage is supposed to look like and what characters are going to be in the story, although some never made it into the story. Disclaimer. As you all probably know by now, I love fairy tales. I always have since I was a child. And I actually got the idea of making Rumpelstilzchen tall and handsome from a collection of mangas. This is the manga. It is a collection of fairy tales illustrated and written by mangakas. And one mangaka, especially Anna Hollmann, who I know from her boys' love story, Stupid Story, she is featured in this collection. And in it, she shows Rumpelstilzchen. This is an example. This is an example. And I'm going to show you a little bit of what Rumpelstilzchen looks like. Here he is again. And one time when he's doing magic. I love the art. I thought the story was hilarious. I love it. And I found the idea of transforming a simple, typically a menace of an imp into a tall and handsome man struck me as genius. I didn't want to copy the idea outright, but I found myself inspired by it. So I took that base of making Rumpelstilzchen tall and handsome, and I went from there. But instead of making him a menace in the forest, I decided to make him the lord of the forest. I gave him more magical abilities, and I gave him a half brother who is the lord of the water. So these two share the same mother. And at first, I did have her in the book, but she did not seem as relevant, so I cut her out. And I wanted the mother to be a being of gold or someone or some magical being who rules gold. But like I said, it didn't make too much sense, and I also wanted to have both brothers to have different fathers. Like they share the same mother who has the ability with all the gold, which would explain Rumpelstilzchen's ability to um, turn straw into gold. But it didn't seem too relevant to the story, so I cut that out. Also, at first, Pumpernickel was rather destructive. He even destroyed parts of Rumpelstilzchen's cottage in the process, but upon receiving feedback to it and that it's more distracting from the story, I cut it out. Pumpernickel, I think he's mainly in the story to serve as comedic relief. Now, looking back on it, perhaps I could have done more with him. I even planned for them to have a little sister, but she never made it onto the paper. Of course, the tale contains the king and the miller's daughter. The two are incredibly vital to the story. So I created Caleb, the king, and Diane, the miller's daughter. From it, Valet spawned, and he is Caleb's loyal servant. if I could go back and change things, if I would change the title, because I'm not sure if it's maybe a little bit too confusing because I kept the title in German. So I'm not sure if it's confusing to English readers. And I also kept the retelling. So I'm not sure if it truly is a retelling. On one hand, it obviously is a retelling, and it does have the same story beats the original tale contains. For example, the miller's daughter is captured, she's thrown into the dungeon. Rumpelstilzchen comes and helps her. Caleb marries Diane, and so on. So the main beats are still in my retelling, but I changed the dynamics of them. I gave the characters more depth. All in all, I think I just twisted it a little bit more. I gave it a little bit of a different flavor, a darker twist, you could even say, and I really enjoy it. So it is kind of close to the original, but at the same time, not at all. For example, I added dynamics the original tale does not contain, such as Diane's growing affection for Rumpelstilzchen, Rumpelstilzchen's interaction with the forest animals, because he rules the forest and the animals in it, and Caleb pursuing Diane not because he falls in love with her, but because she adds to his material wealth. Moreover, I put in the twist that Valet believes Diane to be a witch, because who can spin straw into gold if not a witch? With Caleb's growing interest in Diane, Valet becomes incredibly jealous and even dangerous to her. So there's that added dynamic that I think and I find adds more depth to the whole tale. Also, Diane, despite her own life on the line, she finds herself loyal to her father and unable to confess his lie. So this book mainly focuses on the themes of lies, of promises, and the concepts of morally good and evil. As of this update, Rumpelstilzchen, a retelling, is only available on Amazon, EPUB version and the paperback version, not in Kindle Unlimited, because I do have the first few chapters here on my YouTube channel. And if you have your book enrolled in Kindle Unlimited, you are not allowed to post your public version of your book on any other site or platform. So this is why it is not on Kindle Unlimited, because I do offer the first few chapters for free on my YouTube channel. The chapters are read by me. I am by no means an expert. I just do it for the passion and love of it. I just really like my story, and I wanted to give it a go of trying to read the first few chapters. So if you are interested, check it out. If you do not like my voice, just click the video on mute, and then you can just go on. And because I do have the text on the screen, so you can just read the text, and if you like it, feel free to buy it and continue reading the story. I also tried to make the EPUB version as pretty as possible, but because you can customize the font and the size and all the other settings, my control is unfortunately limited. But I did have more control in the paperback version, which I really like. For example, whenever a chapter starts, I put in the really pretty, well, there it is, the bigger letter that reminds of the medieval times, kind of like fairy tale type of style. There you go. And I even put in some little trees. Where are they? Wrong page. There they are. The little trees drawn by me as chapter breaks, uh, the little line breaks. And I really like how it turned out. I think the formatting is pretty. If you just want to look at it, this is what you would be looking at. I really like it. I think it turned out quite well, and I am proud of it. I do not offer a hardcover version. I used to, but Amazon does not offer hardcovers with jackets. I do love jackets on books, and I wanted one with a jacket, so I took it down. Then I went to a different site that did offer a hardcover with jackets, and this is the copy. I got one of it, and this is the same cover basically, but the inside, it is a green book. Ideally, it would have golden lettering, but I did not know how to make that happen. I did not like the site that much. And then it has like an inside text. But this is the only copy that I know in existence, because I did have it taken down because the prices would be all mixed up and I don't know why. So I just decided to take it down. So there's only the paperback version and the EPUB version, no hardcover. So if you like fairy tales where the fae might not be evil, the so-called damsel fights against her fate, a valet fiercely protects what he knows to be his, and the king might not be as kind as the kingdom believes, Rumpelstilzchen, a retelling, is for you. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you a lovely day, be it sunny or rainy.